me up some.
And we won't have to cry no more.
Yep.
All right. April 27th. It is officially day 8. I'm super ecstatic. Thank you for everybody that has been tuning in thus far. Abundance. I was just watching a TikTok video, and it was a clip of this movie titled Overcomer, and it's the Hannah story where she's a runner who has asthma, and it was the part where she was running a race. I never seen the movie, but I just seen this clip, and I'm actually going to watch it now after I make this. It's on Amazon, and it's on Amazon. So anyway, and she's a runner, and the special part about her is she has asthma, severe asthma, and she's a long distance runner. That's the current race in which she is running, and it's her and this other girl, right? And she's running, and she's getting to the end of the race, and she is giving it her all. Everything that she has in her, she is giving to this race. You can see it. Her asthma's flaring, and as soon as she can see the finish line, and she starts to blur out, and at that point, she thought that she didn't win. You know, she passes out, and the medic says something to her, and he was like, that was a tough race or something. She was like, yeah. And he was like, have you ever won a race before? And she was like, no, or something in that nature. And he was like, well, you won today. He was like, we had to play back the cameras. We had to go back to see who actually won. And he was like, and to come to find out, she was an inch closer to the finish line. She crossed she was an inch over the finish line over the other girl. And at that moment, she lost it. I lost it, because that's just God's blessing. You give it your all, and he's going to make a way. Piggyback off of what I said yesterday, right? And because I didn't think she was going to make it. She didn't think she was going to make it, but God knew. God knew, like, I was going to take care of her regardless. And she won her race. And God's like, Court, just keep pushing. Regardless of her asthma, her health conditions, you know, things that typically people think that they were setting her back, because the coach didn't even want to coach her, because I don't have a team. It's just one person. And another person was like, her principal was like, but can't you coach one person? Can't somebody still receive a medal off of one person? And throughout the story, she continued to persevere. She continued to try. And at the end of it, even though she seen that finish line, and even though she had that asthma attack right at that finish line, she still won. God's like, just trust me. Just trust me. Just trust me. Everything's going to pan out. And I cried. I cried like a baby watching that little clip. So anyway, I have that made me think about, you know, my journey at this very moment. You know, Spirit is calling me to give it my all. 60 days. 60 days. 60 days, Court. And how many days we got left? 52? What? Killing it. I'm still at awe of how things are transpiring in my life, how fast things are moving, you know. I just released my journal in February. Now it's April, it's the end of April. So I want to say about, end of April. I did my journal launch. You know, I've been connecting with people. I did a pop-up shop. I'm doing my dream. This pimple is really bothering me. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so distracted, but this I'm still doing what I feel as though my dream life is. And Spirit just continues to say, Court, just go. I have been seeing also on my timeline, also on my feeds, right? Plants. And something was telling me to pay attention to my plants. And the other day, one of my plants that I had the longest had mold in it. And I was like, where did this come from? And I was concerned that, like, well, I don't want my plant to die. Could it start to yellow? You know, it's like, pay attention to me. So I cleaned it out. I got the mold out. And now it's, you know, flourishing, right? Sometimes we need to purge out that toxicness, purge out the negative thoughts, you know, to bring us into a new. I then was scrolling again and seeing the same thing, but it was a guy repotting a plant, and he was saying that the plant it was wilting, it wasn't growing in that soil, so it had to then remove it and clean it off and dust it off, right? And then give it a bigger pot, give it something where it has the space to grow. Sometimes we outgrow our environment. Sometimes we outgrow our relationships. Sometimes we outgrow those jobs. And instead of letting it go, we hold on to it. Why hold on to something that you can't produce from? Why hold on to something that you can't grow in? We want to change, but we don't accept the change. We want to grow, but we don't like the way we have to grow. We don't want to go through the growing process. We want that instant satisfaction. We want that instant, you know, just get to the finish line. You can't get to the finish line without doing the work. You can't get to the finish line if you don't grow. You can't get to the finish line if you don't practice. You can't get to the finish line if you don't move. Staying stagnant and stuck, how are you going to get there? You sitting in the same spot. You ain't done nothing yet. You think everybody's passing you? You think they just got that by chance, or they just moseying along? No. You have to keep moving to get to that finish line. And you don't know how far it's going to take you. You don't know how long it's going to take you unless you actually try, unless you actually put in the work. Keep going. Grow. Allow yourself the chance to grow. You don't know what's out there if you don't grow. You don't know what's out there unless you don't accept change. And you know if you're moving on the right path, depicting on the results. Failures are just lessons. There's always good that comes out of a failure. A failed relationship, a failed job. You learned something from that. I guarantee you. It's nothing that you didn't fail, that you didn't learn from. Even a class. You failed a class, what did you learn? You know, even if you learned that, hey, that thing isn't for me, you still learned something. This girl, I was watching her video, and she said after relationship, she picked all her stuff up, moved from Florida to Texas, and she thought that business was good, that she can then relocate. And she said as soon as she got there, her car started breaking down. Things started to be disarray. Things wasn't going how she planned it to go. And at that moment, I was like, was that actually Spirit's calling to you, or was that an ego calling? Like, I felt so uncomfortable in this situation after this breakup that I needed to flee. But sometimes us fleeing isn't what Spirit has for us. I need you to be here. I still need to mold you here. Even though that relationship is over, you still have work to do here. I didn't tell you to move to Texas yet. It was a fear-based move. I feel uncomfortable, so I need to get up out of here. And sometimes Spirit's like, no, stay here, be still. It's going to work out. When it's time for you to move, you will move. And what happened was she ended up selling everything that she had in Texas, leaving everything and going back to Florida. because she had stuff to still do there. She had business that was not done with in Florida. I always say that I keep wanting to move. I want to move. I want to move. I want to move. People are like, just do it. I'm just like, it's not. I know I want to move, but Spirit isn't allowing me to move. Like, Spirit is not saying, Courtney, yes, actually really find a place, actually really work on it. You know, Spirit's like, yes, you're going to move. You're going to move. Don't worry about that. I just want you to keep an eye on that and keep that in the back of your mind, because when it's time, I am eventually going to move. But right now, I just feel as I still have work to do here. I still feel as though that it's not quite time yet. And I don't know, maybe this year it will be, maybe later this year, but right now I feel comfortable that my business is growing, and I don't want to get up and reroute to another state. And it wasn't time yet. I wasn't in alignment with that move. Cause I always say, like, I'm going to buy a house out of state. I don't want to buy a house here. And I'm keeping that notion to myself. So yeah, this is day 8, and it's getting a little bit harder to make videos, a little bit harder to make content, because this pimple is really bothering me. A little bit harder to make content because some days I'm learning like I don't have much to speak about, but there's still a message that I can give. There's still something to be said. And regardless, I'm still going to do it. You're still going to see a video. Still going to see me in some aspect, you know, but it's just giving me thoughts to, like, Court, keep going. Run that race. Life is not a race. It's a marathon, and you have to keep going. It's like, give it your all, just like Hannah did. And it really, when going back to that movie, when I was watching it, that clip, when I was watching, I was like, regardless of my illnesses, regardless of my health, regardless of, you know, how it impacts me physically, I'm keep going. I'm giving it my all, because I see that finish line. Here we go again. Thank you, Spirit. I was driving home in the rain. Thank you, God. I was driving home in the rain yesterday, and I took a video of the storm, because while it was storming, the sun was still shining. It's like, Court, you're almost there. And I was driving down the road. It's like, you're almost there. You're almost home. And you see that sun just literally just shining over my apartment. And it's like, even though it's raining, you can still enjoy it, because you know that sun is still there. So me and my son, we got out the car, and we danced in the rain. We just twirled around in the rain for, you know, briefly. And it's just like, enjoy the season that you're in. Yes, it may be raining, but that sun is still shining. Spirit is still guiding you. You know, and I think because the sun was shining, I felt more comfortable doing it, because I knew what was coming. Because you ever dance or play in the rain when it's dark outside, it's like, if it's a different feeling. It's not as fun, you know, because it's dark. You don't see the way out. But since that sun was shining, I was like, let's twirl around in the rain. It felt amazing. It felt good. It felt like I was meant to be there. I meant to keep going. Just a reminder, like, that sun is shining, babe. Those tears of pain will turn into tears of joy. Just keep going. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. Go buy my affirmation cards. Actually, let me go buy my affirmation cards. And actually, let me just get a card for today before the end of this video. Before I send y'all off. Let's see. That was the one I had yesterday. Everything that is happening now is happening for my ultimate good. So, all right. Like, comment, subscribe, share. I'll see y'all tomorrow.